And right off the bat, we're gonna have to ask everyone to leave, because we're gonna go into executive session. So to consider entering executive session pursuant to statutory citation 1
Get up there and be a celebration. Kids can have a grand time. They always do. We're bringing back the other good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, hearing none. To consider the approval of the March 29, 2018 school committee minutes as written with corrections or as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
I make a motion to accept them and make the changes that Stephanie requested.
I second.
All in favor? Okay, principal's report.
Very short, I didn't even type one up. The gentleman who has purchased Wilson's campground,
Butler.
thank you, has started this Cobscook Shores, and the gentleman has been in touch with me about doing a outdoor school, 3 trips, one in the fall for kayaking, one in the winter would be skiing, and one in the spring would be mountain biking. This would be for grades 5 through 8, and we're going to give a trial run on June 4th and 5th. I don't think 8th grade will be participating because the 5th is their graduation and the 4th they'll be getting ready for it, but those are the only dates he had left. So that'll be up and coming. Health clinic, I have been talking with Marilyn Hughes. She was in a meeting today with Augusta. It appears that there is a separate certification for a school nurse, so she's looking into that. And then just sent me an email, what would we be looking for? I said, screenings and records. It would be great if we could have one 3 days a week part-time, but we settled for 2 part-time, colds, headlights, physicals, all of those things. So it's in the works, and I told her, I said, look, it would be great if it starts in September. If it doesn't roll out that fast, it doesn't start till October or November, it would still be better than what we currently have. And I say that with all due respect to Kalor, because I know how busy and thinned out these people are. And then I did receive a banner from the Maine Basketball Hall of Fame for Paul Cook. It's not in the gym yet, it's sitting in my office, so that will be up there.
You got inducted into the
Yes, he
baseball?
did. Yes, as a matter of fact, Miles Seaman called me. Paul couldn't believe it. I could put my hand on his jersey, his shorts, and his basketball. I actually took it home and washed it and crossed my fingers that it wasn't going to shred. And it now sits in Bangor. It'll come back to the school sometime in August. So that's nice. And then the other two,
77?
I believe so. And my other 2 things can come when they pop up on the calendar.
Okay, school committee report. Anyone have anything they want to report on the school committee? Okay, I have something, and I just pushed a piece of paper in front of you from AV Mechanical. We talked about that previous board meeting about the health of one of the boilers, actually both of the boilers downstairs. I had a couple of engineers from the AVM out with me a few weeks ago to give kind of an eyes-on approach at what should be done, and possibly has to be done this year, because both of those units are on Band-Aids and life support, and it would probably be prudent right now to do something while we do have some money, and it's going to be warm and not the middle of February, when we might get the phone call from the fire department that you've got a serious problem. So, some of the numbers I'll put out there, we're talking about $300,000, north of $300,000. This would be something that would have to go up to bid. On the second page, you'll see a proposal there. The proposal is, and it's just this, it's just putting plans to a new system, a replacement system, so we can actually put it up for bid. And that would be about $15,000 just to actually put something on paper, so we can actually have a bid document in hand that we can actually put out to other companies so they can bid on a proposal. So I believe that has been injected into the second draft budget under the maintenance line item, because without this being done, we can't even talk to someone about coming in and bidding on it. And this is something that would have to go to bid. I do have another company that's gonna be coming in probably in the next week or so, Mechanical Systems in Maine. And they're gonna be coming in and giving it the same look-see, and see what we have. And this is only one boiler. We have two of them. And if, just to get into the 5,000-foot view of it, it's basically going from oil to propane. Removing the old boiler that's in place is a hot water boiler, okay? A lot of it has to do with the remediation and removal of the old boiler because it does contain asbestos. It also will include putting in 2 hot water heaters because the hot water that we have in the system, or you want to call it domestic hot water, not really domestic hot water, but hot water that's used in the school building itself, in the laboratories, in the showers, in the kitchen, in some respects in the kitchen. We'll have to replace that with 2 other water heaters. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into, you know, the downstream stuff. Just the boiler alone, we're looking at $220,000, just the boiler. All the other stuff is downstream stuff. You know, air handlers, thermostatic controls, and so on like that. And it's all pretty much outlined here what they're suggesting, or this engineer's suggestion that we looked at, so.
You know, Mike, when we talked about, you know, finding that, the money, did we say, well, that time didn't give us what we were gonna put towards this? That was one of the things we were gonna do, right?
That was one of the things I suggested, and until I get this paper in my hand, I didn't know exactly how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that, you know, we're looking at is that, you know, we've got some of the money for this. Some of the money is gonna have to come from somewhere else. Whether it's a bond issue that we put out, or some kind of a loan that we you know, extrapolate and bring into the system. But like I said, this is only one part of the puzzle that has to be replaced. We have 2 boilers. This one here is the first one that should be replaced because it's in the worst condition. And the rest of the stuff, like I said, is downstream. So this is one part of the thing. Maybe over a period of 7, maybe 10 years down the road, getting it finally completed, that will give us another probably 40 or 50 years service. Okay, so, and we spent about 5 hours looking at this. His engineers have looked at it, his engineers have proposed drawings and so on like that. And everything that else that has to accommodate this, you know, installing LP propane tanks outside, removing the old boiler, repairing and putting more bandages on the present steam boiler that's down there. And basically making this so we don't get the call at 3 o'clock on a February morning.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm just gonna put this out there right now. Go ahead.
May I ask you a question? You have 2 boilers. Which one would this be reflecting?
This is replacing the hot water boiler that's in place right now.
Where is that? Is it under the gym?
Under the gym. There's 2 of them under the gym. Okay?
Is that for the elementary and not for the high school?
This is for the part of the cafeteria area and the high school wing, okay? And I'm glad you brought that up,
I have a question. Go ahead, finish your thought.
okay? Because right now, okay, there's really no heat in that high school building at all.
I know.
And this will give us a good handle of how much heat is going in there because we'll have controls over things. This will also put in a BTU meter into that building, so now we can actually charge for the heat that's going into that, and the LCOC can probably help us out with generating payment for that.
Is there a possibility of getting any grants? I mean, Kathy Arrington, since the LCOC went in there, talked about having, you know, writing grants for getting a new boiler system or something down there, if they're using it. And I have to be honest, again, as a taxpayer, I'd rather see us fix the elementary end. I'm not worried about the LCOC's end.
The elementary end right now is in, I want to say, not the best shape, but it's in a lot better shape than this.
But why would you being the board, consider doing a wing that we have no students in? Except for the cafeteria. I'd rather see you take the cafeteria, the elementary end, and the part that does the kitchen, and put it all on one boiler and replace the elementary end.
Not that easy.
I know that,
I
I
wished it
didn't
was.
say it was easy, but,
Wished it was, you know, and my quick fix for the whole thing is to take both boilers out, replace with one boiler, and go at one system. But the way the school is constructed and the way the building's constructed, it's not that easy to do.
the other question I have is why did you decide to go with propane instead of oil?
Because number one, it's more efficient.
Not by BTUs, it's not, no. I don't know who told you that, but it's not. But go ahead, I'll get you information on that. But go ahead.
Okay. More efficient, and it has a smaller footprint.
What do you mean by your footprint?
Expensive.
Propane is more expensive by gallon than oil,
Yes.
okay? I'll give you a perfect example. The Historical Society was not heated for the past 15 years. We put a new system in, and we've spent almost $3,000 this year to heat it at 55 degrees, okay? You have to also then go out and get a contract with somebody that has the propane, and most of them are done in the May, early June timeframe. You miss that, you're gonna pay the going rate.
Mhm.
Third thing is, the town, I knew, I had attended enough meetings that you had wanted to have the AOS see if they could look into buying oil with the other towns to save money. Sitting on the budget committee for the town, I brought that up, and they said that they would like to see the town and the school buy their oil
Absolutely,
together.
absolutely.
Well, I'm just making that suggestion to you, and
Now
this way.
here's the other thing, okay, I have to stop you, because this is why I have another company coming in to take a look-see.
Okay, Mike, I just wanted to say
Okay?
that to you, that you
Because
were
I'm not
all
gonna turn
aware of
around and put the school board out and say, this is what we have to do.
it. Right.
If another company comes in and say, no, you know, you really should maybe stick with oil, or they might even come up with something else and say, hey, you might wanna look at biofuel, okay? I'm open to all options at this point here, because we don't wanna have that call on February morning.
No, I don't either for the school children or for the teachers or
Okay,
anybody. But
so-
I'm just, again, I wanted you to know that the school, the budget committee and the town fathers said that they would bring that up, but wanted to bring that up when we get to it on our budget. But the concern is, your budget goes at a different time than ours, so we would have to go by whatever you use in oil. Let's say we agreed to stay with oil and you wanted to buy it with the town, we
We're
would
still
go
gonna
out.
have one unit that will still use oil for at least the next year and a half, maybe two.
We'll make sure that's brought up, but I'm just
So-
saying to you, you can get a lot better rate when you're buying this bulk as opposed to the other. And has anybody looked into grants to pay for this?
Looking into it right now.
Thank you.
Okay. So, you have it there. Any questions, let me know. Some pretty scary numbers out there, but that's what it takes, other than,
Well, year after year, they delay this, and it's gotta be done.
and every year there's been more Band-Aids put on there and so on like that. I wanna say that in this one boiler that we're replacing, over the last year and a half, there's probably been more than $8,000 or $10,000 just in repairs and fixes and
More than that.
Band-Aids put on,
The
just,
whole-
just
yeah,
that one boiler.
yeah.
Okay, so, and it's one of these things that, you know, it's gotta be done, it's gotta be done, so. The only other thing I wanna say is that I might wanna turn around and actually get that roof looked at. You know, just be for a figure coming out, and it might not happen for another year, we'll have to see, so. And, that's all I have right now.
Michael, may I ask you another
ahead.
question? Of work? Did all of you get a letter from Dana Bradley?
Yes, we did.
Yes. I saw it, he gave it to the people on the ad hoc committee for the high school. And I thought to myself, I don't know what he's talking about. You can't put an aluminum on a roof like this.
That's why I'm not even gonna mention it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it was, you got it in full.
I don't know enough about that construction to say that a metal roof would work there, so,
Thank you, sir.
okay. Okay, superintendent appointment of Colby Sartell for softball, baseball coach, and appointment of Paul Springer for the assistant softball and baseball coach, Small Schools Coalition, which starts on May 4th,
I have to attend that meeting on Friday, May 4th,
okay?
where I hope to hear an update from members of the educational subcommittee on legislative progress. A couple other items I will add. When last we spoke, I indicated that I was pursuing the possibility of saving us some money on our electrical bill. I arranged for a conference call with a third party that Mike and the chair of the esports school committee attended as well. And I had one of my staff members do an analysis based on the results of that call. And unfortunately, the devil's in the details, so to speak.
I thought.
To switch to a so-called competitive rate at a fixed rate, it would actually cost us approximately $560 more. And the reason for that is because our rate varies over the course of the year. Our rate's very high during the winter months, as you can imagine. Then during the summer months, our rate is lower. If we went with a fixed rate over the full 12-month sequence, we would end up paying $560 more. So that will effectively put an end to that possibility. But it was worth having a conference call and doing the research. If there was a chance that we could save money, then we'd be interested, but that does not appear to be the case. The last thing that I would say is that at our last meeting, the board requested that I do a little research to obtain some possible safety and security training, and I indicated in a follow-up email that I had made contact with a consultant that I had used before, and he sent this along to kind of give a little background on what he can provide, and I would encourage us to take a look at this.
In addition to this, we're also reviewing our own procedures
Right,
on safety.
right.
Okay.
So this gentleman is willing to have a 3-hour training session that I've extended the invitation district-wide, and we can meet at Pembroke for 3 hours, kind of a central location. $500 for as many people as we can send from the school department. You can see here what will be discussed, and I've taken training myself from this gentleman on 3 different occasions, and I've been very pleased with the quality. So a little background there.
Okay, we have personnel from the school that would be interested in attending this?
Yes, this would, thank you, Tina. I think we would have some staff who would be interested in attending, and what it will do, however, is require that we have an early release day on May 16th, and we can notify parents that we'll be releasing at our regular early release time that would facilitate our staff members to get to Pembroke by 12 o'clock, 12 to 3 would be a regular day for them.
What day of the week is that?
Friday.
Is it?
I think it's a Wednesday, isn't
No,
it?
it's Friday, but
Wednesday.
it is a Wednesday, I think.
Oh.
So if it pleases this board to authorize a calendar change to accommodate that training,
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, may I ask you a question regarding that?
yes.
Who's paying for it? The ALS?
Since all towns would participate, I'm sure we could divide up $500 around the
That's why I'm
AOS.
asking.
No problem.
You know, I wanted to ask Tina one thing after last season. Is our team gonna be looking in the fall for the sports program?
So we're gonna be low on the older group.
Yeah,
We'll only have, what have we got, 2 boys in 7th grade going up to 8th. 6th grade, we're gonna be low on that higher.
but will we be set up with whoever we were before last year, like that, those teams or that league or whatever you call it?
For basketball, that's who we're playing.
For soccer, what do we start off with, soccer or,
Soccer. Soccer.
soccer, so will
Yeah.
they be
No,
playing
we'll,
in their,
we'll stay that way.
yeah.
All right.
That's all I have in my
Okay.
report for this
No,
evening.
good.
Okay, adjustments to the agenda.
I have one. I would propose that we delete number 6, facilities update. We had requested that Sheldon attend, and he was unable to attend this evening. And between your report on the status of the facility, I think we've covered it. So I think we can delete that one.
Okay, old business? New business. Consider the first reading of the student handbook.
So I'm assuming Noreen offered you a copy of the handbook.
Yeah.
with the changes. And the only changes were dates and number of students and to add the new cell phone policy.
Mm.
That was it.
That's the only question I had, were there any difference?
Yep, she
You want
should
one of
have
these?
sent
Well,
you.
you must have one, I got the new one.
Did you get a list of changes? I always have her send you back a
Yeah,
list of
well, it was,
changes.
this one right here, I'm sorry.
No,
I
you
didn't
didn't
read-
get, you didn't
yeah.
get a list of changes. So
Yeah.
the changes were date changes, and cell phone policy. And that was for both the student and the faculty.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion on that to consider the first reading of the student handbook?
I make a motion to consider the first reading of the student handbook.
Second on that?
I second it.
All in favor? Okay, number two, to consider the first reading of the faculty handbook.
And were there any changes?
Same changes, dates, and adding the
Dates
cell
and
phone
cell phone.
policy.
Okay, consider the first reading of the faculty handbook. A motion on that?
I make a motion to consider the first reading on the faculty handbook.
Second on that?
I second it.
All in favor? Okay, to consider the adoption of the 2018-2019 school calendar.
With one possible change.
Mhm.
Pending the new, and Mr. Johnson and I have spoke on this, pending the new reading program, there is one day that is needed for professional development. If I can take one of the workshop days at the end of August and move it to like the 7th or 8th, this is what the lady is proposing, I can provide professional development without needing to pay staff and give staff about 2 weeks to be trained and then 2 weeks to look at that reading program.
Okay, so you're gonna move that from the last day in August to when?
Whichever one he wants for his mandatory training, whichever one Kenny wants, he can choose the 2 dates, doesn't matter. It will be either the 7th or the 8th of August. I know that sounds a long ways out, but I'm talking with Carol Cohen,
7th or 8th of August or
August.
September?
August. Did I say some wrong month?
I thought you said September.
So, I mean August. One of the last two,
So it's like, if you're gonna make it August, are we gonna have, I think we might have to pay the teachers if it's gonna be before the calendar, before the state started the school year. You'd have to pay. If it was gonna be September and you're just doing a calendar adjustment, they'd be under contract anyway.
they have to attend those 2 workshops, the teacher's workshop day.
Well, you have 2 days in August
Right.
that are teachers' workshop days.
Right, I want to take one of those and move it to the 1st of August. I've talked with all staff members anyway.
Some of us would rather have that reading program, we have time to deal with it.
I'm
They
fine,
chose
I'm
between
fine with it as
June
long
and
as
August. I
if the
don't know
union
all
is
of
in
them.
agreement.
We can meet and, say what's on it, what to do.
I'd like the signatures of the teachers to okay
I
that.
mean, because, you're moving it like, from the end of the month to the beginning of the month. and-
Are we gonna have a
People
high
might-
absentee
people might
rate
be
too,
away
because
on
then they'll be
vacation
on
somewhere.
vacation? And I believe in the program probably, but,
Well, I will go this far to say,
um,
sorry teachers, if my teachers aren't willing to be trained, then I'm not gonna waste money on the program, because what good is it gonna do if they
Well,
don't know how to use it?
I don't think it's a question of their willingness. Let me ask you this way.
They might not be in the state, they might be, on
but I
vacation
think,
somewhere.
high
They've
amount of
all already
absenteeism.
committed,
I think,
I think that every one of them.
right, that was, we were given certain date preferences, and I think some of us wanted to see the program so we could have time to implement it well. So,
Well, my concern is that your contract
but
has,
we already come in August.
well,
so-
but it defines the year as when it starts and when it ends, I think. All I would need is like a letter from yourself saying, building representative,
We'll
we're
work
fine
on
with
that.
this.
And I would like to have all the teachers' signatures on it, to make myself feel comfortable that, I'm not gonna hear about it sometime in September, that, hey, you made us go to this session in August and I had to miss on my vacation stuff. I don't wanna hear about
And I don't
this.
wanna pay
a month
extra
later.
either, if it's a union thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want the program.
Yep. Staff.
So we can work on that, and then if I can give Kenny that letter with all the names on it, are we good to make that change? If the budget doesn't pass, we don't get the program to move
I
forward
don't have a
anyway.
problem with that. I mean, I don't know what the other members feel, but that's how I feel
I'd
about
like to
it.
check up on the union contract to make sure that we aren't gonna have to pay hundreds of dollars.
So if Mrs. Street and I get together and create a letter, and all the teachers sign off on it that they're willing to do that, and then I can give it to Mr. Johnson, are you okay with just making that change?
Well, if you're paying 20,000 for a new program, I think the teachers need to know what it's about.
Well, I just wanna make sure that we're not gonna be paying hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars in wages.
That's why I wanted to flip
Yeah.
swap a date.
Well, right, but it matters when it is, because theoretically, a member of the union could say that we're actually adding a workshop day to the current year,
Right.
and therefore, there would be more than minimum. I mean, if the union's fine with it, I'm fine with it, all I need is like a statement.
Yeah, I wanna make sure that we're not gonna be paying any extra for this. I mean, other than that, if the teachers all sign in okay, that they're okay with it, I mean, it's,
Get all the
Their
teachers to
time.
sign off, I don't have a problem with it.
I just don't wanna pay any
I just
extra
wanna,
for it.
I don't wanna hear about it at the end of September or sometime in October, that, oh, you made us do this, and, okay.
Okay, I got that. Sorry, now I interrupted your vote.
Oh, I would also like to know, on that paper, how many will be attending and how many wouldn't be attending? If only half are
Well,
gonna be
they'll
able
all
to
have
attend.
to attend, because it's gonna.
I mean, well, if they have
consist of
airplane
pay
tickets
day,
to
right?
Europe, they're not gonna cancel their whole trip to Europe, or, you know, if they're
Yeah.
planning their whole family vacation to
As
Yellowstone or
of right now,
whatever.
none of them have anything planned.
Okay, all right,
That's why I
Right.
jumped on it early.
all right. I just don't wanna interrupt their plans and have a high rate of absenteeism and then only half the teachers take part in it. Well,
Okay, I would like to say then to consider the adoption of the 2018-2019 Lubec school calendars with change as advised. And with that letter and so on like that, to basically have everyone sign on. Just makes me feel more comfortable, so.
Keep looking at me, I'm
Okay,
looking.
I have a motion on that.
I make a motion to consider the adoption of 2018-2019 Lubec school calendar with the change advised.
Second on that,
Second.
all in favor? Okay, we want to do these all individually, right? To consider reappointment of the following teachers for the 2018-2019 school year. Elodie Libby, probationary 2.
I have a question, because last year she had started with probationary 1, but then at this time last year, you had to move her up to the next level, which was probationary 2, so shouldn't she be probationary 3?
No, because she
No.
was sub.
No, she was, yeah, but then she started, but I remember last year at this time, she moved as probationary 2, and I was really questioning that, why she moved up so quickly within a couple months. And so if that's the case, isn't she already on probationary 2? You sure?
No,
No,
she was, a sub,
She-
she
she
started
just,
her first year.
her initial assignment was a technician, when she was
Mhm.
hired
Yeah,
originally.
yeah.
Her assignment
I remember.
became that of a teacher,
Uh-huh.
and there's contractual, there's,
January under a long-term,
Right.
she started in January as a long-term site.
And it's contractual,
Yeah,
they
but
don't-
then I remember there was things, I remember I was at the meeting and I questioned it about, how is it that you're already going out to probationary 2?
okay, so,
She completed 1 year, right?
right, so.
Yeah, but you had to do it for the next year, you had to assign it, you said.
So the law reads as this: I have to inform teachers in writing no later than May 14th
Yeah.
of their status for the upcoming year.
Yeah,
There is actually contractual language that says a teacher has to work X number of days per year in order to qualify to take a step. So those are two different things. So I need to notify her by May 14th, state law, as to what her status is for next year.
oh, so it's still probationary 2, because I remember, you had to do the notification by May, so she went to probationary 2 last year, so I just want to make sure that it's the right stuff.
I think that it is.
Okay, because I remember clearly if she went to probationary 2, because I remember questioning
She
you on
could,
that.
well, if she did, I can tell you, as a part of the mentoring team and watching time, she should have, it should have been, this should have been year 1, next year should be year 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought, I remember questioning that. But,
Right,
but
same
the
for
probationary
you,
2,
right?
that sounds correct to me, all right, that sounds good.
Okay, a motion on that.
Yeah,
Well, I just have a question, Mike, about this, and I talked to Mr. Johnson about it. And, I looked it up, what it read, somewhere, right here. But about what I looked up is teacher evaluation and professional growth system. Well, actually, it's in their negotiations under chapter 508. And I asked Mr. Johnson, as board members, how do we know how our teachers are doing? And, you know, what is our profession, and this is what this chapter 8 consists of. Professional improvement plan, and, you know, what is ours, and what are the opportunities, what standards are they evaluated by? And this is nothing derogatory against teachers either.
It's just a
But
basic
how do
teacher
we know
evaluation.
is, you know, the board, I mean, I don't know how,
I mean, I can explain the process and Tina can comment on it generically without violating confidentiality, but each probationary teacher, every teacher actually, well, probationary teachers especially, are evaluated on a regular basis. A continuing contract teacher can be evaluated, you know, at the same rate, but usually they're evaluated a little less frequently just because they're on a continuing contract. But we do indeed have an evaluation system that is in compliance with state law. We do use a software program that is called the Mazzano system, which has preloaded criteria, I guess you could say, that teachers are measured against. Each teacher has to submit a growth plan that is approved by Tina, and there are components to that growth plan, one of which actually includes student data as a requirement under the law. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it.
but do we have access, or is it too confidential?
Okay,
As board members, do we have access to that, or no?
you would not, as board members, have access to a teacher evaluation, and that's only because the board doesn't exercise direct supervision over the teachers. It would have to be a set of very specific criteria with the employee present, I might add, before a board could get into that sort of thing.
One thing I have questioned last year at this time, it was a provisional teacher license, really. And I'm not questioning her performance at all. Is there 100% credential with the state of Maine as far as a teaching license? Are we still on a provisional?
We're still on a provision.
Are you cold, Tina?
No, thank you.
Okay, so we don't have, so if it's provisional,
And Anna has a statement, I see a hand.
yeah,
I have to tell you, as again, I serve on the committee, you're not gonna like what I have to say. My student get ran out last year, and I cannot get renewed. I'm done on my criteria.
What?
The state will not renew me. The state does not have an operating system. I have completed all my criteria, got signed off, I'm waiting to go. They've given me my license expired in 2017. They would give me a 1-year extension, 2018. It is still not up and running.
You're probably
And-
gonna get another one.
Right, so no one, so even if there's no way Elodie could come off or anybody, well, you were asked about
but your credits are done. Her credits, she was
yeah,
still attending.
her credit's done.
Oh,
We just can't get
That's what I
the,
want, that's fine.
we can't
I
get
understand
it.
slow systems, I just wondered if all the credits, all the
Yeah.
accreditations were
I
done.
know this, I'm frustrated, I'm
Right.
frustrated.
Because if she did not have all those accreditations, we would still be required to have the special ed director there to oversee the meetings because she wasn't qualified to be the sign-off if she wasn't certified. But if she has her certifications through the college,
Are you cold?
then we're fine.
I mean,
The license doesn't bother me, if the certifications are signed off by the university, I'm fine with it.
as Anna has indicated,
Mhm.
the state of Maine whole certification department.
Mhm. Yeah.
is-
Well, I understand that, I just wanna know
I feel
that,
safe to say
I
that
wanna
it is
know that
indeed
the
a sham.
program,
Yeah.
I wanna know that the program was completed educational-wise, and beyond the computer problems or anything, everything has been achieved to receive that license, just for waiting on the computer programs, correct?
One more hurdle, but,
Huh?
one more hurdle.
What hurdle?
State requires practice testing.
Oh. Until that practice testing is done, how are we legally at an IEP meeting without a director? Does the
comes,
director
doesn't
have
she?
to be at every single IEP meeting?
She doesn't have to physically be present. Your
Yeah, I know, there is this
our
virtual.
director Skypes in.
Okay, but she has to have some kind of verbal or physical presence at the meetings until that last regulation has been completed.
Your director signs off on the IEP plan, and we are.
Oh, I understand that, but she has to be verbally or physically present at the meeting, right?
I don't think so, and I can say that with pretty good surety, because we just came through a 5-year special ed review for the district, which is why we have.
So she doesn't, even though ours isn't completely certified, and I'm not talking about the certificate, but certified, educational, she needs to take the test still.
Isn't
We're
she
still okay.
responsible though? I mean, she has to be here and creating the IEP, doesn't she?
Okay, the special education director bears the responsibility for the implementation of the IEP program. But I don't believe that the special education director is required to attend every IEP meeting in person.
Well, no, they are not, as long as we have a fully certified teacher. I don't want this coming back to bite us in the butt later on when somebody says, hey, you know what, you weren't following federal regulations, because this is some serious stuff. We could get in some real legal trouble.
And we have just recently had a 5-year special education review that has just been completed this
With
year.
Lubec or the district or?
District-wide.
Okay, do they know that Lubec does not have 100% certified, educational certifications
Yes,
aren't completed
Our
yet?
conditional certification is on file with the department, and in case you're wondering, certification status
But
is a matter
but
of public
provisional
record.
did not allow for the IEP meeting to occur without somebody that is, the provisional didn't count.
Right.
I would check with
I
the
would-
state of Maine, because that's something I did check up on last year, and they said somebody with that certification has to be at the meeting. Has to be at the meeting.
And I would then, I guess I would encourage you
I
to
would-
contact
What,
our
it can't be
special ed
verbally?
director.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they verbally, but it's fine. But they have to either be verbal, they can be Skype, they can be telephone, conference call in, but they have to be in that meeting. In some way, have a presence in that meeting.
That's
she
how I
has
read
that,
it.
doesn't she?
Steph.
I called them last year on
No,
it,
I
and they
read it
said
back.
somebody with that certification, until LD is 100% finished her testing, we need our special ed director there. I'd like something done on that. I can certainly make a call, I still have that phone number.
I would encourage you to call our special ed director personally.
No, that's not gonna happen. So,
Michael, may I ask you a question, something that you were all just saying? I know up here, we have tried to have meetings, and we were told you cannot Skype during a meeting. They will not, MMA won't allow it, so I don't understand how you all physically have to be there. How can somebody Skype a meeting? Because they could bleep out and then come back in, and bleep out and come back in, and be missing parts of it.
She's generally on phone.
I don't know, we were told that they had to physically be here, so I guess I'm asking, if you're checking anything, you better check on that.
yeah, I
also.
believe they said that could be, and one of the problems I had is that we pay a gigantic amount of our budget to the special ed director, and I think somebody needs to make their way to Lubec a few more days off.
Okay, can I move, have this moved on LE? Get a motion on that?
I make a motion to consider the reappointment of Ellen Lilly.
Okay, second on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All against? 2 to 1. Okay. Consider the reappointment of Scott Wilcox, probationary 2. Have a motion on that.
Anna's got her hand up.
Yeah.
As the union president and a member of the steering committee that I'm on, how did you become a union, how did you become a probationary too in Lubec? This is his first year here.
I was gonna ask that myself.
Yep, that's
He-
kind of,
He started at probationary 1, like any new hire would. And like I said, I have to notify people as to what their status is
You
by
only
May,
have a
by
few days,
May
and not, and I
4th.
like, don't get me wrong, I'm not questioning him, but I just question because he came so late.
Mhm.
I would think we would keep him on 1.
Okay, well,
that was my same question with
Then-
LD last year.
Then here's what can be done. I'm only required by law to notify somebody in writing. Theoretically, I can notify him in writing, by May 14th. This group meets again on May 17th, I think. So you could still do the nomination on May 17th. We would still be in compliance because I will notify the people in writing prior to the 14th. So we
On
can.
probationary one or probationary two?
I believe it would have to be two if he's gonna go to another year. However, if it changes at the half, theoretically, you could say, I'm gonna continue your probationary one status until January, and go to probationary two in January of next year when he completes 1 year. So there are some
Well,
things that can be done.
So next
That
year he
makes
goes to
sense.
3.
No,
He's
So-
still 2.
but right now, he should be considered probationary one
For a whole year.
until he completes the whole calendar year he's been here. Not the school year, but the calendar year. When did he start? January?
Yeah, Christmas contract, that's the Christmas contract.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so he can be notified he's still probationary one until he's actually here a year.
And then we'll take him on to 2.
Okay.
I don't think there's any problem with that.
well then this is gonna be a no action, this is be a table.
Okay.
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 Okay, and reappoint Larry Jones, first year continuing contract. A motion on that.
I make a motion to consider the reappointment of Larry Jones, first year continuing contract.
A second on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All against?
Was that a 3-1?
3-1. Okay, data summary.
All right, so Mr. Johnson so graciously just dropped these in my lap, so I will do the best that I could do.
I got faith, Tim.
So this is a comparison of your MEA scores in your content areas of English language arts, math, and science. We will compare, if you want to take one and pass it along. The first one I just gave you is the 16-17 school year, and this one is the 17-18. But however, remember, the state reports data a year behind. So they would have actually taken these tests, and what's that first one say, Wanda? You get the first one?
Right here.
Okay, so they would have taken this one in the 15-16 school year, and this one in the 16-17 school year. So if you're not totally confused, I just give you my congratulations.
So do we take these home, review them, and if we have questions, ask you at the next one?
You can, or I can give whatever, or I can give you just a quick synopsis, just if you want to look. If you look at 16-17, and you open up to the very first page, just to kind of give your familiarization, you will see that it says English Language Arts Assessment Data. And then as you go down through, on the side, it will break it up into all students, female, male, blah, 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 blah. Real quickly, if you move to the right, you can look at how all students,
This is 16, 17.
that was the percentage of our students, this was the percentage of the state. So you can see the state was higher.
even though we can't look at one of those,
Are these for the budget committee and the people that?
No, these are test scores.
that's why,
I don't know,
Usually here.
they didn't mention I cited it.
So, you can see that in 16-17, we were 38.24, and 17-18, we came up to 42.31. That's just a little gist on how to read those. The next page will take you to mathematics, if you flip it. The third page will take you to science, I believe. And then you'll get into your report card, which talks again. I mean, you can look this through, you guys are all
Would
intelligent
you mind
people.
if we did that, Mike, just take these home to?
Yeah, this is a lot of
No names, I can't
information.
figure
Yes,
anything out.
I had for the first time.
Yeah.
Those are in the public domain.
In
Yes.
a way, we're comparing it to the state level.
You can, you compare it, you know, you could, if we had enough of this, we could look at, well, you guys can't, but we can look at grades, when they were fourth graders, when they were fifth graders, how they progressed. There's a lot you can do. If you think this is valid and reliable, because remember, this is a one-time test
Yeah.
that they take
Yeah.
just before April vacation, right in the middle of basketball season,
Yeah.
and they take right after April vacation.
And this is public knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
It's a pretty neat thing to throw on a website. just more information.
That's actually posted on the department's website.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
so-
then I'll link to it.
So
And
you
just
can
tells
take
more
a
about
look
the
and
kids.
I will try my best to answer it. If not, I'll call either on
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Street or Mrs. Johnson. Sometimes you can get turned around in them.
Yeah, we could real quick.
Okay, custodian bus driver position.
How's it going?
I was asked to put this on the agenda, and can you comment on the need?
Sure, I'll just come right out and be very blunt.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, we advertised for this position, thinking that if we put it together as a bus driver custodian with insurance, we would get more applicants. It does mean, do we need more custodial help? No, we don't. And the conversation I had with the individual was if you chose not to get your bus driver's license, it would mean you could lose your job. I can't sugarcoat it, I gotta say it like it is. But it's just, in my thinking about bringing this back was, because the correctional facility had closed, would we get more applicants?
Have we had any applicants?
It just went out, I just saw it in the Quaddy Tides, that came out Friday.
Okay.
We had somebody stop by on Friday to pick up an application.
We did?
You know, if, well, what, you know, we're gonna have maintenance, and Mr. Johnson and I talked about this, but does our school, what do our present custodians do, and where would we have a need for another one?
Right, and we don't have need to
No.
increase it, somebody would lose
Yeah.
their position.
Yeah.
It's just, does this give us more people? And I don't have any complaints with our
Yeah.
current custodians, it's not about any of that
Yeah.
stuff. It's about more applicants.
Plus
If it's a better
that's-
position.
Is there another position that we need help in school besides custodian, that a bus driver slash something else?
Yeah,
But, yeah, I'm trying to find something else.
Yeah, I've got different,
Yeah.
I've got
Hey,
different
you
combinations
said it.
Yeah.
around the district.
Yeah.
The combination of bus driver and custodial is a fairly common configuration.
Yeah,
Used
but
to be there
we're,
25 years ago. Now, our Jim used to be bus drivers and it worked out well.
Yeah.
It used to be a requirement, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, I've seen-
If you were
Originally it was.
I've seen bus drivers, helping out in the lunch line, in the kitchen. I've seen
Yeah.
bus drivers, doing a variety of things.
yeah, but what do we need?
I mean,
We
We
need a
need-
bus
we
driver.
need a bus driver.
Yeah, but what other combination could we put together? Is there something else in the building?
I
I
mean,
mean,
do
we don't need a
to?
custodian really, we don't, what do we need?
We're looking too at a potential.
And you were saying
another
IT,
insurance.
that'd be kinda cool,
So,
but that'd be an odd combination, I'm sure.
Well,
Sorry.
we'll see what
Oh,
we
no,
get.
go ahead. No, sorry, go
We may
ahead.
get something, we
I
may
just
get
said it'd be
nothing.
another
But I
insurance.
just thought it might bring in more with a full-time
That's the
job
cost I'm
insurance.
thinking about.
And
Yeah,
That's
take
a
that
big
on the table.
cost.
Yep, well, I just want
Okay,
to have a bus
let's
driver.
move it on here.
All right,
All right,
yeah.
here we go.
To consider the first reading and revisions of the following policies. Special education audit.
Do you have those? I've got two here.
Ew,
Okay.
and I have not read that, and I definitely want to
Oh, I
read
have the
that.
wrong agenda?
Which, I didn't
Oh,
know
wait.
which one that was.
Can we table that till next time,
Everybody-
because, well, we can take it home to read, is that what this means?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mr.
this
Johnson.
Okay.
This is the first reading, there's no vote on it, just a
All right.
look at.
All right,
Is it the one, is it called the referral and general education intervention?
Yes, it is. There it is.
did you get it?
You can
I
get
got
them
an email.
online.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got an email.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the note I have here from Helen on what's the difference between the two versions. Ordinarily, there are many policies that are a relatively minor adjustment, and I can brief you quickly. This one, we're gonna have to take home and put it on the nightstand at night and read it at your leisure or something,
Okay.
because the note says it's generally more comprehensive, which means it's significantly different, so.
Okay. All right.
Just the first reading tonight.
Yeah, well, I make a motion to take all three of them home. There's a lot of reading.
And here's child fines, right behind it.
Okay, so we have the IHBAC child fine,
Right here.
and then we have the use of physical restraint and seclusion.
The physical restraint and seclusion policy I can summarize for you because the change is a significant change, but it's relatively minor to explain. The word imminent was struck from the policy. So As
Yeah, I read this.
As special education law evolves over time, that particular policy has been the subject of much scrutiny, and it used to contain references to imminent threat, imminent harm, imminent danger, but the word imminent has been removed from that policy. So that one was an easy one to summarize.
So I would say, take these home, highlight them, questions.
If I can just get a motion in a second just for a first reading
I make
for all
a
three,
motion
that'd be great.
For
Okay,
all three of them.
Yep.
okay,
I
Wanda.
second.
All in favor? Okay.
Okay.
Make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not too shabby.
Okay. Tell us how you really feel, Mr. Street.
You know what I tell you how to feel? No, you
Yeah.
don't.
Would it really matter? Maybe
I
find out.
I
No.
think this
I'll
is
get a
how
split
I
today,
think,
so.
So do I, they can.
Even though this was.
I know, it's the year before, that I got.
So if I look at this, oh, good, it does tell me, all students in 16, 17.
Great, and what grades are these?
This is,
I gotta figure it out.
English language
Oh,
are.
great, all right.
Just give them the sugar thing.
Oh, I got that. Okay, that was, I got it.
No way.
No, this is, I guess this is,
Yeah.
it was the whole.